Yo, what is up guys? Delboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're new here, smash that like, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. So Jack Catterall defeats Josh Taylor by a 12-round unanimous decision to avenge the defeat he suffered back in February of 2022. Now, this fight I have to say was much better than first time around. Much more exciting, much more ebbs and flows. It was still messy at times like the first fight, but it was much more exciting. There was a lot more clean work in my opinion. There were a fair few swing rounds in my opinion. And yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the fight and both guys fought with good intensity. Both guys put on a pretty good show. And it was Jack Catterall who won the decision, and in my opinion, rightly so. I felt it was a close fight. I actually felt it was closer than at least two of the judges' scorecards, but I felt Catterall rightly won the bout. I felt Catterall started the fight really well, came out round one, going jab for jab with Josh Taylor, and he was beating Josh Taylor to the jab. Catterall was more effective with the lead hand, and he was more effective with his backhand. He was coming forwards, trying to take centre ring, and he landed a couple of good straight lefts on Josh Taylor. One looked like it kind of buckled the legs of Taylor in round one. Really impressive start by Catterall. I felt Taylor came back well in rounds 2 and 3. Rounds 2 was close because Catterall was countering Taylor coming in with his overhand left and the straight left in particular, as well as scoring with the jab. But Taylor was doing some really good body work. He was hooking around the side with his right hook. Obviously, this was a battle of two southpaws, and Taylor's right hook in round 2 and rounds 3 were pretty good, both to body and head. He also sneaked some good overhand lefts on Jack Catterall. Again, round 2 was close, you can argue. Round 3 to me was clear Taylor. However, rounds 4 and 5, Catterall came back and boxed really well. Got on his jab, maintained the distance really well, was pinging Taylor's head back with a jab on numerous occasions. Round 5 in particular was a schooling from Catterall. Just took Taylor to school with the jab. Again, doubling up the jab, tripling up the jab at times. He started to unleash a couple of combinations for 1-2, for 1-2 right uppercut, for 1-2 right hook. Really good round in round 5 by Jack Catterall. And at this point in the fight, I have to admit, I was wondering whether Josh Taylor had anything left because it looked like he was trying to force his work. It looked like he was trying, but he couldn't get anything off kind of thing. And he was looking kind of sorry for himself, in my opinion. Pushing his punches. Nothing was really coming off for Josh Taylor. Didn't look dynamic, coming in straight lines, etc. And he was being picked off by Catterall. And I was wondering whether he could get back into the fight. But to his credit, in the second half of this bout, Taylor came back. Round six, was a very close round, in my opinion. It's what you preferred. I felt Taylor outworked Catterall in round 6. However, Catterall was landing the more eye-catching counters, especially the straight left hand down the pipe. Taylor was more busy, however, and he was doing a better job at closing the distance against Catterall. In the second half of this fight, Taylor was giving a bit of side-to-side movement. He was crouching, he was getting low. The guard was more tight, the lead hand was a little bit higher. And there was more head movement from Taylor in the second half of this bout. And when he combined that with his pressure, it made the pressure much more effective. But regardless, round 6 was close. You can score it either way. To be honest, I felt after round 6, it felt like Taylor was starting to get a foothold in this fight. Round 7, 8 and 9, and even 10 were very competitive. I'd say Taylor won more than he lost, just due to work rate. The body work was very effective by Taylor, in my opinion. And the right hook to the head was coming into play as well. Whereas Catterall was still doing the side-on pull with his jab, trying to counter down the middle with his left hand. But for me, the counters in those rounds were less effective. Or not even less effective, because when he threw them, they were landing. But they were less frequent, I would say. Again, from round 7 to 10, there were close rounds. But I would say Taylor won more of those rounds than Catterall did. Round 11, however, and round 12, for championship rounds, this is where I felt Catterall won the fight. I actually felt Catterall had a pretty average start to round 11. Jabbing and moving and holding at times. But, Taylor was a little overeager, trying to unsettle Catterall. And towards the end of round 11, I think it was a minute left maybe, he was caught coming in with an overhand left by Catterall, bang on the chin. And Taylor was badly hurt. He was buzzed. Taylor went to hold. There was a lot of messy action, and both guys crumpled to the floor. That gave Josh Taylor a respite. Both guys, however, got up and resumed. Following that, Catterall landed another big overhand left that bang on the chin, seemed to hurt Taylor again, which obviously won round 11 for Catterall. Round 12 was competitive, but for me, the more eye-catching punches clearly came from Jack Catterall. I felt he maintained his composure a lot better. Taylor was the aggressor, but to me his work was messy, forced, whereas Catterall's work was eye-catching, very clear to see, head-rocking shots kind of thing. And yeah, I felt the last 2 rounds of this fight pretty much won the bout for Jack Catterall. I felt, honestly, after 10 rounds, I felt this fight was pretty much even. And I felt Catterall's end to this fight, rounds 11 and 12, won him this bout. Ironically, it was far closer than the first fight, in my opinion, where I felt Catterall clearly won. This fight was much closer, much more competitive, much more entertaining. I felt both guys put on a good show. And yeah, Catterall rightfully won the decision. Where do both guys go from here? Well, Catterall, for me, has to be a world title fight next. Matchroom have Subriel Matias. I think that's a great fight for him. As for Josh Taylor, listen. He put on a good show. At times, you could see his old self shining through. But he could never really maintain it. And I'll say, throughout a lot of this fight, while Taylor was having success, a lot of his work seemed very forced. There's just not the same level of dynamism to Josh Taylor's game. The relentlessness is not quite the same. Even the snap on his punches isn't the same anymore. Put on a good show tonight, but it wasn't enough. And for me, Josh Taylor really has to think about retirement. I don't think things get any better from here for Josh Taylor. 33 years old, been undisputed champion, had a good career. I can't see Taylor doing anything at welterweight, so for me, maybe Josh Taylor needs to think about hanging the gloves up. Unless he can maybe get a third fight with Catterall, but will anybody want to see it? I'm not sure. Maybe he could move to welterweight and fight Conor Benn in a big domestic fight, maybe. But for me, the options for Josh Taylor are few and far in between now, so I'd retire if I was Josh Taylor. I don't think he's got anything left to prove. Had a good career, albeit a short one. Again, undisputed. So yeah, nothing to be ashamed of there. But yeah, Catterall moves on, he wins. What do you think? What did you guys think of this fight? Sorry guys, a little bit incoherent. I've had a few beers, so it is what it is. But yeah, share your thoughts below. Beanie Guy Del Boy. Peace.